Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's daily live stream of the market open. Today is currently April 10th, and as we kick off the new trading week, the markets are under some pressure today, coming on the back of Apple guiding down regarding some of their sales. Now, in terms of what is also transpiring, we have the dollar, the US dollar breaking out. It is on watch for a technical breakout. Our members, anybody who's been in our streams, should be well informed about this potential dollar breakout. It has been coiling and forming a downsloping wedge pattern that is on the near term trying to break out here. I can just simply show you this downsloping wedge. And again, our members have been well informed about this potential pattern, which looks to be coming to fruition and playing out as we speak. So definitely, if that dollar continues to hold above here and break out, that's going to be bearish for the markets, and that's what we're seeing here. Couple trades on the radar, so definitely keep your eye on that dollar intraday. We're looking at MU Micron for a short trade. Micron is gapping up on the fact that Samsung is cutting an aspect of their chip making business, so the markets are thinking that Micron can pick up the slack. Now, where I would look for a short on Micron, we have this technical gap around 63 bucks. Let it pierce that level. Hopefully we can get a fill and a pierce at that level. There is another little gap where there's a potential it could push up to, which is around this 66 bucks. That's a little bit higher on the cards, and it may not get there. But overall, Micron is actually forming this bearish wedge, and their earnings were horrific, the last couple earnings reports. So this is a stock I don't mind holding as a swing, but I definitely want to see if we can get some day tradable action. But this is a bearish wedge forming on Micron. It is gapping up. Hopefully it can fill that gap, but right now it is quite substantially off of that level because the S&P is weakening right now. We're also looking at PXD. So PXD had a announcement over the weekend that potentially XOM is buying them out. As you can see, PXD is into this massive resistance channel, and it's actually gapping over that channel as of now. The level that I like on PXD for a short trade, I mean, it's a kind of a way off level. The only one I would feel comfortable is around this 233 because you did fill this gap already. So around 233.83 is really the only level that I like for a short on PXD. Other than that, I'm not really seeing any crazy opportunities. I mean, there's a high risk play with TUP. Just keep this in mind that this is a tiny company, but you're pretty much now approaching the lows. I mean, you could take a little bit of a bottom fishing pick if you wanted to see if you can scalp this. I know there is a tiny little gap fill that it's into right now. You can see this breakaway impulse move to the upside. So it is tagging that gap fill as we speak at the moment. You do have China stocks also under pressure. The likes of Baidu should be gapping lower here, and this is probably just due to the fact that the dollar is starting to surge. So Baidu does have a technical gap fill here, but realistically the only better level that I see for Baidu for a long trade is if you take a trend line here and you wait for it to pierce that gap and you wait for it to hit somewhere along this trend line. So maybe we're talking about a 135.70 level, give or take. All right, so and then obviously natural gas is starting to rip roar to the upside. That's positive for our UNG trade, which we added to on Friday. So that's good to see. Obviously UNG is going to be gapping up today. It's trading all the way up to 686 at this moment in time. So that's certainly good to see. Basically UNG has been making this wedge pattern, which we kind of broke out of, and then you did a full picture perfect retrace as of Friday, heavy volume sell, maybe final capitulation, and now you're looking to regain steam up ahead. Let's take a look at the spiders just so we can see what is transpiring intraday. Obviously for the SPY, there's that same little channel that we had quite a ways back that we broke out of. And now we're doing a retrace. So we're trading at 406. So the big level of support will be somewhere on top of this trend line. So maybe around 406, maybe the even number of 406. The markets trickle down lower. But there should be some decent support there in the near term. Let me just erase some of these little trend lines here. Overall, the bearish aspect about the markets is You had this original M topping formation which you triggered, and then the markets rallied on light volume to get above that level. Now you're gapping over this massive neckline. That is extremely bearish. There's a potential that you get a bounce and retrace to it, but the fact that we're gapping over a major, what was resistance and became support, the fact that you're gapping over support is not a healthy sign for this market. All right, so we have about 9 minutes to the open. So really Micron and PXD are on my radar for the potential shorts. And then long trades, there are some long levels that I have out there, but realistically they are a little bit lower. So right now the spiders are trading down, trying to get a little bit of a bid. The dollar has softened, but putting in some potential bullish consolidation. Nat gas has softened from the highs. We'll see if it can hold the gains. Nat gas has had many pops and drops, but realistically, it's not a matter of how you open, it's a matter of how you close. We really need to see natural gas hold these levels. Right now, the NASDAQ is the leading to the downside. The NASDAQ is the big loser on the session. It is leading to the downside. The big thing, too, on the 2-year yield, can we push and close above 4% today on the 2-year yield and tighten that spread? So we're about 6 minutes to the open. Scanning through here, Capital One received some negative news regarding Walmart cutting their partnership, so that's going to be a financial stock to watch and be under pressure, most likely. So the dollar's trying to push up. The 2-year yield is also trying to push up again. Oil had a nice little dump on the hourly chart, but has caught a little bit of an intraday bounce as of now. So about 3 minutes to the open. 3 minutes to the open. So we have the dollar trying to push back up again. We have the 2-year yield trying to push back up again. All right, get ready for this market open. We are set to open very shortly here. So Micron is on the hit list. Most stocks are gapping down. The big question is, will they get bopped right back up? Apple's under a lot of pressure. Dollar softening from the highs. Nvidia's had a big push. Gold is seeing a big push. Microsoft's under a lot of pressure this morning, gapping lower. The Russell's trying to climb back and fight. Spiders are now pushing lower. That's still off. Spiders are still under a lot of pressure right now. Perhaps some fear ahead of CPI. Spiders are hitting the first level of support here. Spiders are hitting the first level of support. This trend line is some decent support. But again, the markets are very, very fragile right now. Super, super fragile. Tesla's down 3.5. Apple's down 1.8. Big down moves. Micron's approaching that 63 level, so keep Micron on the radar for a short. Obviously, if the spiders get a bounce, since Micron is strong, it will see additional money flow. Let's see if the spiders continue to make some lower moves. Right now they are still holding up. Spiders are holding up, but definitely still a lot of weakness in this market. Micron's starting to push up and look a little more intriguing here. So we're coming up into this first resistance level. Because the spiders are so oversold, I'm going to wait a little bit, because if the spiders get a bounce, Micron's going to push through this area. So I'll let you know if I take a Micron short. We are hitting gap fill right now. We are about to hit that gap fill. Nvidia's bouncing, semis are bouncing. Dollar's still acting well though. Apple's still under a lot of pressure this morning, trying to hold the lows here. So is Tesla. Tesla's under a lot of pressure. It's down over 4%. Micron's up 7. You have Amazon down 1.8. Schwab's holding up. Google's negative. Nvidia's negative, but off of the lows. AI's negative. Definitely a lot of weakness in the semiconductors, except for Micron. Micron's hitting that 62.95, 63 bucks. 63.08 is my gap fill level, but that should be a decent resistance level for the aggressive traders. I'm just worried that the spiders get a bounce. So I'm going to see if I can pierce that level, get it above 63 for myself for a short. But I am super interested. Definitely interested in Micron. Look, so it's piercing that level now. It's piercing that level now. Spiders are... Come on, one more push on Micron and then I'll be really intrigued to go short. 63.07. Can we get 67.10 here? Come on. 63, come on. Spiders are bouncing though. I still haven't taken it. So you can see there's sellers coming in now. Up 7.4%. Nvidia's at the dead lows. Apple at the dead lows. Oh, look at that pullback. That was the trade. That was the pullback there, guys. Fortunately, I did not take it. I wanted to be a little bit more conservative. But that's okay. There will be other trades, and it may come back up. There's a lot of strength because capital is looking for those relative strength trades. Alright guys, I'm looking at Micron here for a short. I am going to grab some here, 63.14 short Micron, 63.14. It's a 1/6 position. 63.14 short Micron. I think we can get at least a 30 to 50 cent pullback. All right, Micron's coming in nice here. Micron's coming in nice. All right, guys, look at this. Micron's dumping. Let's see if we can get 50 cents. All right, guys, I'm covering Micron right here. 62.64, 62.64. Boom, just like that. In and out. Those are the picture perfect 50-cent trade right there in our pocket. Now we can play this again. We can play this again if it takes out the high. We will play it again if it takes out the high. But we want it to pierce that 63.14 level by a decent margin. So that was a nice quick in and out trade here. Spiders are still acting pretty weak. Micron's pushing up again now. Micron's 63.13. Let's see if we can get some more downside or some more upside, apologies. Nat Gas is taking a breather. Microsoft's getting pummeled at the lows. QQQ's under immense pressure right now. Come on, Micron. If Micron can push up a little bit more, make a new high, we will play it again. We just need to be patient. Micron's piercing that level. I'm going to play it again, but just let it go a little bit higher now. Let it keep going. Let it keep going. I'm looking for at least over 63.40, maybe 63.40. At least over 63.40 on Micron because the spiders are catching a bounce now. Nice little push coming in on the SPY. So take a look at that level that we warned you about where you should see some buyers come in. Beautiful channel support. Boom. You're hitting that. Micron's pulling off the highs. Markets are getting a nice big bounce here as the dollar consolidates. Micron's pushing up now as well. Not at the high of 63.14. It's trading at 63.10. I'm still interested in a short. Still interested in shorting MU again. Look at this, 63. Let's see if we can get to 63.40 or even 63.30 looks appealing. If it gets to 63.30, I'm interested in taking a 1/6 position again. But it's going to coincide with weakness in the spiders. Apple's still at the lows. Microsoft's still at the lows. Should see a market bounce as the mega caps are coming into some near-term support. But again, things are looking exceptionally weak right now. Very, very weak. Oil's had a big, big bounce. McDonald's remains resilient. Volatility starting to fall. The Russells had a big bounce. The IWM spiders are also pushing. Keep Micron. Oh, I wasn't even looking at Micron. It actually hit that 63.35 level and pulled back. And the spiders having a nice bounce. So this is all because the spiders and the Russell are bouncing tremendously well here. All right, guys, 63.40. I am short Micron, a 1/6 position at 63.40. It's pushing up some more now. 63.40. We're going to look for about 50 cents again. 50 cents again. Spiders are still trying to hover here. The next ad level will be about 63.95. Spiders are starting to see some more selling, but they're trying to hold up here. Dollars just made a new intraday high. Apple's at the dead lows. Microsoft's seeing a little bit of buying pressure coming in, but nothing crazy yet. Nothing crazy. Home builders have bouncing. Dollars pushing up here. Apple's at the dead lows. Apple's at the dead lows. This is going to weigh in on the market. Micron's starting to push up a little bit more. 63.95 is the next ad level. Microsoft's falling sharply. Ooh, big sell-off coming in tech. NASDAQ is pretty much at the lows. Tesla's catching a bounce, but it's still down over 4%. Take a look at this Dixie. The Dixie's really starting to get going here. Spiders are holding up. The Qs are where the relative weakness is. So notice how weak the Qs are, and that's because of things like Microsoft. Also seeing a lot of sell side pressure. Microsoft bouncing, Apple's bouncing, so it's going to lift this market. But you should see some capital rotate out of semis into the more oversold intraday names like Microsoft. So we're going to look for about 40 to 50 cents on Micron. That would put us at a cover of around 63, 62.90, give or take. But it's a 1/6. We just have one trade in the book, and the markets are having a nice bounce off the lows here. They are indeed. Microsoft's still under a lot of pressure, so is Apple. Coinbase is falling. Qs are falling. Meta's under pressure today as well. Meta's down today 2.2, so that's good to see, helping our tech short. All right, Micron's starting to come in here, guys. The spiders are also coming in. We may have a Microsoft long. The level I like on Microsoft is coming up around 285, a 285 Pierce. I would consider going long Microsoft. Take a look at the markets. They are coming a little bit lower now. Spiders, Qs. Qs are definitely where the weakness is today. Nvidia is seeing more selling now too. Nvidia is seeing more selling. We're nice in the money in Micron. Let's see if we can get this to go with a nice topping tail. Nice sell on Micron coming in here. See if we can hit that 63, 62.90 level. The Q's next support is at 312.59, so it's still quite a ways away. It's about $1 away. Microsoft support is at 285. Natural gas is pushing up more. Let's see if we can get one more little flush down here in these markets and Micron. Home builders are still holding up relatively well. Come on, Micron. Come on down. Apple's still no bid yet. Apple looks like it wants to go to 159 and change. 159.13. There's a big volume profile there that's waiting. Spiders are catching a bid here. So spiders are trying to push up. Micron's starting to push back up as well. There's still a lot of weakness though. It's not a given that these markets are out of the woodwork yet. $63.19 on Micron. Let's see if we can get some more downside. All right, Micron's hitting that 63 level. Let's see if we can get it to pierce. Come on. A little more sell-off occurring, and then we can exit this trade for another winner. Come on. Let's go, Micron. Apple's still at the lows. There's that 63. I'm going to let it go a little bit lower because the markets are trending lower. 62.98. Come on. Come on, Micron. Apple's still falling. Microsoft's still falling. We did finish with a 10-minute topping tail on Micron. So the high for the session is likely in, unless the markets get some crazy rally to the upside. But we did get a 10-minute topping tail on MU, Micron. That's good for our short. Microsoft seeing some money flow right now. Nat gas is still pushing up. That's good to see. Nvidia is catching a little minor bounce. Apple's trying to catch a bounce. Still hasn't hit my support level on Apple. I mean, I really have it coming around the 159, 159.12. Micron's pushing up. Microsoft, Russell's actually catching a huge bid. The Russell's gone positive while the NASDAQ and the S&P is lagging. But again, with tech lagging to the downside, it puts a lot of pressure on the overall market because it has such a concentrated market cap. Coca-Cola is now coming in. McDonald's is now coming in sharper. So definitely some weakness starting to creep in this market. Definitely some weakness. The big question is, are we going to go lower? So Micron's coming back down now. Let's see what we can get here. Come on. Let's see if we can get 50 cents or so. Pierce that 63 level and close below there. Qs are at the lows. I do have a buyable level on the QQQ that I'm interested for a long trade, but it's a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower on the Qs. See if we can get one more flush on these markets, and then we can go long the Qs. I would like to cover our Micron and go long the Qs at the right level. But Micron's still holding up relatively well in comparison to the market. Microsoft new lows. It's coming down into some support. 285.03 on Microsoft is a big support level. It's an hourly chart level. Nvidia's still under pressure. Schwab is up nicely on the session. All right, guys, I just covered my Micron 6284, sorry, 6286. I got covered 6286. Beautiful, 2 for 2, in and out, just like that. Wonderful, wonderful trades. Now we can actually look to go along the Qs. I do have a buyable level on the Qs. It's coming up at 312.59. 312.59. Basically, that is around this level here. So you are going to have some buyers at this double bottom, but I want to see it pierce. The markets are actually very, very weak right now. So we do want to see it pierce that level. Microsoft had a bounce off of that 285.15 level. Markets are bouncing. Micron's still treading lower, so if you didn't have a chance to cover, you're actually lower on the chart right now. AR is performing well because of nat gas. That stock is on the move for sure. China stocks are still under a lot of pressure, but getting a small bounce here. One other stock I wanted to look at was Warner Bros. WBD. That was actually putting in a nice bullish pattern that I'm interested in going long. So this is actually a nice potential bullish pattern that's happening on Warner Bros. I'd like to see the markets firm up, but definitely interested in going long Warner Bros. For a swing. QQQ, I'm still interested. If we can get a bounce or a level down to 312.59, I would go long the Qs. Definitely interested in that. Spiders are coming down. Dollar's starting to push back up some more now. We can short Micron again if it retraces the double top. So MU has a nice 10-minute topping tail. If it retraces this to this double top, or even does a 618 retrace, so about a 60% retrace of that move, we can look to short it. But again, the Qs are on my radar for a long. Spiders are looking weak right now. Bitcoin's starting to see some sell side pressure as well. But I am interested in Micron again for a short, but it's not at the level yet. And again, maybe market makers are just selling this market off ahead of the CPI print. We don't know. So MU's approaching again. Micron is still a potential short trade here, but we want to see it retrace at least back to our target where we had it before. Tesla's getting a nice little bounce. Spiders are trying to move up here. So it's really mega cap tech that is dragging this market down today. Go figure. Nvidia is seeing a big bounce though. So Micron's pushing back up. I will look to short Micron again, guys. I will look to short Micron if it hits that 63.40 or pierces. I will be interested in hitting it. Apple didn't hit my actual downside target, and neither did Microsoft. Microsoft came very close, but it did not hit my downside, which leads me to suspect maybe there's a little bit more approaching in the near term. Home builders are still holding up well. Commercial real estate is taking a breather. Spiders are still trending lower. So the Russell is definitely holding up better than the Qs and the spiders. Oil's holding up as well. Micron's pushing up. We're about 19 cents away from shorting it again, so keep Micron on the radar. It does have a 10-minute topping tail that I would love to short again on a retrace. It's pulling in now. So I'll call that out if I see it. Really, there's no other trades. Ooh, spiders breaking down here, guys. Spiders are breaking lower. Spiders are breaking lower. And that's because the dollar's starting to push even higher now. Spiders are still under some pressure. Let's take a look at the Qs here. I'm still interested in that Q level, but we really want to see it hit there in the next like 10 minutes or so. But we'll definitely keep the watch on the spiders for now. Gold is still under pressure, a lot of pressure today. So that's obviously going to put pressure on the likes of GDX. AMD's had a nice bounce. Tesla's seeing another wave of selling here. So Tesla is seeing another wave of selling. Dollars pushing to the high. Yields are also pushing up. All aspects of the yield curve are pushing up. The long, the short, the medium. And they're actually holding. So we want to see another flush because I am interested in some longs here on the Qs. I'm interested in playing the QQQ. You can play it via the QLD, which is a double levered long, or you can just do the single. Qs typically are volatile enough. China stock's trying to bounce. Walmart's taking a little breather. All right, let's see if we can get another round of selling here. Spiders are exceptionally weak, so again, the Qs are on watch for a long. Microsoft's making new lows, or trying at least, just made a new low. 285 is a good level on Microsoft. It's hitting some hourly support here on Microsoft. Take a look at this. Microsoft should get a decent bounce here. You got a bottoming tail. This is a technical level on Microsoft that could be played on the long side. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until the Qs hit my level. I think the Qs will actually have a shot of coming down here. So I'm going to wait. I still see Micron pushing up. Micron's actually almost hitting that level again. Spiders are still under pressure. Qs are coming down. Take a look at the Qs. Micron's hitting that 63.40 level again, guys. I didn't take it yet because the markets might get a bounce here. So I'm just playing it a little bit more cautiously. Spiders are catching a small bid. Dollar's taking a little bit of a breather. Markets are catching a nice little pop here now. Micron's up to that short level that we had. I'm not in it yet. I'll let you know if I take it. I want to see it actually pierce that level again. Spiders are now starting to push up. Nice little push coming in for the market. Apple, everything's pushing up. Microsoft's getting a nice bounce off that 285 level. The Qs didn't quite hit my level. I'm a little disappointed about that, but again, it's okay. We've already got 2 in our pocket. It's 10 a.m. You like to be in and out of the market as fast as you can as a day trader. Look at the spider push here coming in. And again, even the Russell is pushing up. Russell's positive. Spiders are negative by 0.64. QQQ is negative by quite a substantial margin. But it is starting to push up as well. Wow, look at that micron reversal off of that 63.40 level again. That should have been it. For those of you that took it, nice job. Look for about 40 cents, which it actually just hit. Notice how we're still holding this channel support on the spiders. Apple's still looking weak though, so there's always a potential to go lower in this market. Dollar's taking a breather here. No real trades right now as of yet. Markets are trying to push back up, so it looks like the first wave of selling is starting to abate. And but the big question is, can the spiders push through this level here? These wicks. That's going to be the big thing. And it's going to need a tech push, because if the banks start weakening at some point, then that's not going to bode well for the overall market. So the KRE has had a nice bounce, but it put in a 10-minute topping tail. And if the KRE starts to weaken, then that's going to put additional pressure, because what you saw originally was that every time capital was rotating out of KRE and banks, it was going into tech, lifting the market. Now you're seeing tech under extreme pressure today. And basically, if banks start to weaken as well, you won't really see that capital rotation. It'll just be getting liquefied out of the market. Microsoft's still exceptionally weak. A lot of weakness still on Microsoft. And again, the Qs never hit my downside target, so there's still a chance that we actually flush down. I'm still semi-interested in this 312.59 level for a long trade on the Qs. I am still interested. Apple's trying to bounce, Tesla's trying to bounce, but it looks like it could be all potentially bearish consolidation. So let's just be mindful of that. You do have Ford up on the day, Schwab, so really the smaller cap stocks. Microsoft's down over 2%. Nvidia's had a nice bounce off of the lows. So once again, Nvidia is holding up relatively better than most of the other stocks. It was down quite substantially, but now it's seeing some buying pressure. Let's do a quick volume trend here. Oh, the volume is disgustingly light today. Volume is very, very light today. Nat gas is up over 6.4%. That actually could push up to about 227. I have some decent resistance. Spiders are trying to push up now. 2-year yield's at 4%, so the 2-year yield just hit 4%. Let's go through a quick sector check. So the XLK is obviously underperforming. The XLV is also down 0.5%, but had a nice bounce off the lows. XLF is outperforming. Actually, zero, it's flat. XLP, let's take a look. That one's down 0.4, but it's had a nice bounce off of the lows. XLY, consumer discretionary, is negative. Let's do a check on utilities because that was outperforming last week, but it's had a gap lower and tremendous amount of weakness. Take a look at energy. That is actually outperforming up over 1.72%. And then we can also take a look at industrials, XLI, which is also outperforming today. So the Qs are getting a little bit of a bounce. The spiders are also trying to push up. Is this the moment where 0 DTEs come in and start pushing this market up to try to attack the gap fill? That's the big question. Big cap tech is bouncing. Apple's lagging. Oil's still under a little bit of pressure, trying to hold on to the gains that it does have today, although it's just slightly positive on the session. Just slightly positive. Microsoft's getting a nice bid. Volatility has now basically gone negative. Volatility has gone negative. Spiders are trying to push up some more here now. Mega cap tech is still exceptionally weak. KB Homes, home builders are pushing up substantially well now. KRE starting to see a little bit of weakness. Couldn't take out its 10-minute little topping tail. Gold is falling. Meta's still pretty much at the lows of the session. Oil is starting to make a move higher now. Alright, it's getting kind of slow here in the markets, so basically I am going to bring this stream to an end a little bit early. We've closed 2 for 2 today on Micron, so wonderful, wonderful job. In and out for quick gains within the first half an hour. That's what we like to do as trading. This was a stellar picture perfect day trading session because our trades, we were able to execute our first Micron within a minute. We were in and out. And then our next Micron trade, we were able to execute within 10 minutes. So those are literally what define a perfect day trade setup is when you can get in and out within literally one candle. So on that note, thank you all for tuning in. Definitely be careful that if the dollar continues to put in bullish consolidation, it should put additional pressure on this market. And with yields basically now closing above 4%, there's always a chance that tech and the markets can sell off some more. We're getting a nice bounce, and you did get a positive close above this reversal pivot. But the big question is how much upside is left in this market. I'm going to find it very difficult to see the spiders push back up there. But again, with light volume, anything could happen. Really, anything could happen in this market. So definitely, if you have profits, if you've locked in gains, protect them. And on that note, thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you on the charts tomorrow.